Hello and welcome to your Thursday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Adrian Atkinson. It's the beginning of a new month and 7th along the calendar. We are talking July, and the first today is recognized and celebrated as International Reggae Day, a music created right here in Jamaica and widely loved across the globe. Today, we salute our artists, musicians, producers, writers and composers, past and present. Coming up, we look at developments on the Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000 and reiterate our call for proper disposal of our garbage. Stay with us for the latest news and so much more.
Yo, this is We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to ADPEM.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, July 1, 2021. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has declared that no local government election will be held this year. He was responding yesterday to public speculation about whether the recrafting of measures under the Disaster Risk Management Act was strategically done to facilitate the holding of local polls.
Nonsense. There will be no local government elections held this year. Let me make it absolutely clear to everyone. And certainly, there will be no local government election held until I am satisfied that Jamaica is on the right trajectory for vaccination.
In the meantime, the Prime Minister says government is well aware that many Jamaicans have suffered as a result of the restrictions under the Disaster Risk Management Act, which were put in place to help the country manage the COVID-19 pandemic. He says that as more persons become vaccinated, the country should see a return to some semblance of normalcy.
As soon as we get an opportunity to provide relief to those persons who have been without income, we will, with due care and caution, allow for increased movement, increased gatherings, but we always appeal to every citizen, follow the protocols that are established.
Government has delivered 2 new police stations as it continues to prioritize investment in national security. Yesterday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness officially opened the Olympic Gardens police station in his constituency. The facility replaces an older, smaller police station. The National Housing Trust provided $157 million in funding to build the station, which was constructed in collaboration with the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Jamaica Defense Force. It includes a criminal investigations branch office, community safety office, a homework center or internet cafe for community members, traffic unit, and cell block. The new station also boasts a kitchen, dining, and bathroom facilities. The Prime Minister says it's yet another example of government's significant investment in the transformation of the police force.
And right now, we have over 200 police stations that are being improved. We have improved the mobility of the police force. We have improved the technology of the police force. We are increasing recruitment. We are changing the way in which the police interact and interface with the public.
Over in St. Mary, Transport Minister Robert Montague handed over a newly constructed police station at the Ian Fleming International Airport to the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The 2,500 square foot station was built by the Airports Authority of Jamaica at a cost of $48 million. It is to serve the airport and neighboring communities.
The building itself was, the metal part of the building was rotting. There was no holding cell, there was no reception area for the public. And it could not hold the required amount of police officers that should be accommodated. And an appeal was made, and the AAJ decided to underwrite the construction of a new facility for our hard-working policemen and women.
This is the kind of station we want right across Jamaica, not only in St. Mary. And it's important that as an organization and any institution, the basic minimum you give your staff to work with is a comfortable environment and the right tool.
Bull Bay St. Andrew resident Kemisha Francis is the latest recipient of a home under the government's National Social Housing Program, NSHP. The two-bedroom, $7 million dwelling was handed over by Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Tuesday. He used the ceremony to reiterate government's commitment to providing safe, affordable housing to the island's neediest.
I can't tell you that overnight we are going to transform all the dilapidated, poor housing conditions like this to this. I couldn't promise you that. But what I can commit to you is that I am going to try my hardest to move from this to this.
Up to June 18, 33 units have been completed under the National Social Housing Program at an average cost of $8 million. 10 houses are currently being constructed, with all units to be completed by September. In other news, the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, has announced that it is holding the policy interest rate unchanged at 0.5% per annum. This is the rate offered to deposit-taking institutions on overnight placements with the BOJ. A statement from the central bank highlights that the monetary policy decision is aimed at ensuring the annual increase in the prices of consumer goods and services remains within the BOJ's inflation target of 4 to 6%. The BOJ says its decision to hold the policy rate unchanged was made by a unanimous vote of its Monetary Policy Committee. This decision was based on the committee's assessment that, despite recent increases in international commodity prices, maintaining this monetary policy remains appropriate to support inflation within the target range over the next 2 years. It's also aimed at supporting a recovery in economic activity in Jamaica. In health news, the ministry has received a donation of 168 emergency relief beds, 200 mattresses, and 40 locally made bed sheets that will support government's COVID-19 response. The supplies were handed over on Tuesday by the Rapid Relief Team, DFL Distributors Limited, and Camco Limited at the Shalimar Warehouse in Kingston. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton expressed thanks to the donors and stressed that partnership was important for the effective delivery of healthcare. He says the relief beds will be deployed to regular hospitals and COVID-19 field hospitals as needed. And finally, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the shipment of AstraZeneca vaccines that arrived in the island yesterday will be used in a vaccination blitz this weekend. The 65,000 doses of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine donated by the Mexican government will vaccinate persons who are due their second dose of the vaccine.
This weekend's blitz from Friday to Sunday, possibly Monday, will be for only persons who fall in that 8-week or over period, because we need to clear up that backlog. Then after that, we'll resume the others.
Dr. Tufton says there are 25 to 30,000 Jamaicans currently within the 8 to 12-week wait period for their second dose of the COVID vaccine. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Today we reinforce the call to protect our environment by disposing of garbage properly. By sharing the consequence of our marine space, we hope that each of you will be inspired to play your part.
our team and also Circle K International, we're doing a beach cleanup, and that's our passion is the ocean. So we are here picking up as much garbage as we can with a small group, and so far we have gotten 211 pounds of rubbish and 3 bags of plastic bottles for Recycle Partners of Jamaica. We are very grateful for this small but effective initiative, and we're just encouraging persons to go out and do something for the environment today.
We came here to serve at the old hospital beach, and we came with the Montego Bay Marine Park. And in light of Environment Day and World Ocean Day, we also wanted to join with them just to take up some plastic, some garbage, because we know these are affecting our environment. If you look at the North Gully and stuff that is coming into the ocean, we see that we need to take initiative to protect our environment.
We choose to do this in this area to keep Montego Bay clean, to keep this section of St. James pristine. It's something we do every year. We have lots of organizations joining us each year, and this year is no exception, even with the pandemic. We know this area is heavily used by Montegonians, and we like to keep it clean and pristine.
When we do our cleanups, trust me, the top thing that we always find is plastic bottles. Plastic is really everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. Just going along the shoreline, you'll encounter plastic. Going onto the beaches for just swimming or snorkeling, you'll encounter plastic. And even when we go diving deep down 100 and odd feet, you're still finding plastic. So it's just everywhere, and it's a big concern for us. So this initiative is really what we want to push to get the plastic out of the environment, and that's what we aim to do.
If you come to the beaches, you see all these plastics and the water looks so dirty and all of that. So we want to take the initiative to protect our marine life, because sometimes we don't have enough fish and the fishes are being affected and so forth. So we just want to take initiative to maintain our marine life. As you know, the coral reefs are being affected as well.
I'm here today to help to contribute to resolving an issue which we are all plagued with. There is a grave problem with our climate and our environment. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank the Montego Bay Marine Park and the UTEC family for coming out and launching such a wonderful initiative.
So persons may be wondering, what do we do at the Montego Bay Marine Park? Our main aim, our core mandate is really to protect and care and preserve the environment. So what we do on a daily basis is we patrol and care for the protected area, because the Montego Bay Marine Park is actually a protected area. We manage 2 protected areas, the airport fish sanctuary and also the Bogue lagoons. So we monitor those and ensure that no fishing within the no restricted zones. We also have a very active education program in which we go into schools. I mean, pre-COVID, we used to be up and about in schools and communities, educating them about the environment and best practices. And then we also have the scientific department in which we monitor the water system and whatever is going on in our environment. So that's really the core of what the Montego Bay Marine Park is about.
So you today or tomorrow or whenever in the future, make sure you take up a plastic bottle if you come on the beach or anywhere you go.
Please remember to use up those recycle bins. Try to build up that plastic bag with plastic bottles and try to recycle it.
I encourage all persons within the island to do their best, play their part, and ensure that their shorelines are kept clean, not only the beaches but the rivers and communities as well. After all, it's our environment, Jamaica, and we should take care of it.
An average 400 years for plastic bottles to decompose. That's not in our lifetime. So most likely our grandparents' plastic is somewhere in the environment, right? So if we can do something about that right now, even a micro effort is so very important for a mega effective stake on the environment. So do your part, remove the plastic today so it doesn't linger on for generations to come and end up in the ocean, killing marine life and even ending up back on our plate. Because when the plastic don't break down immediately, they might break into what we call microplastic, and fish and the filter feeders such as our shrimp and lobsters might consume those, and eventually we are the one consuming those marine animals, and then we get sick or we ended up eating plastics.
The government remains steadfast and committed to infrastructure development, especially our road network. Follow us along the Maypen to Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000 to get a first-hand look at what's being done.
Transforming the landscape one leg at a time. Winding, wrapping, reaching and hugging the contours of some of our highest points. This is Highway 2000.
Highway 2000 is a major infrastructure program for Jamaica that NROC oversees. We started out as far back as 1999, where we had phase 1. Initially that ended at Sandy Bay. Then we added one another phase called phase 1B, which ended at Maypen Roundabout. We were engaged also in phase 2, which started from Caymanas in St. Catherine and ended at Miami Bay in Ocherius. That is what we call phase 2A. Additional phases now includes phase 1C, which starts at Maypen Roundabout and ends at Williamsfield. There are other phases in the pipeline for the future, which will see what we call phase 2B, starting at Williamsfield and ending somewhere around in Montego Bay. And that is our long-term plan, as well as the linkages with the upcoming Montego Bay Perimeter Road. And then that would be our major Highway 2000 project. This part is $188 million US for the construction of the highway. The project is being done with China Harbour and the government of Jamaica through the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. And NROC is the implementing agency. So we engage the contractor on a daily basis as to the project's overall implementation. So we have all the necessary oversights for quality, safety, and construction management representing the government. And as such, our role is very specific to ensure that the construction is done on time, with quality, and within the budget. And our expectation is that our contractor will cooperate based on the contract arrangement to complete the project in the time specified, which is October 2022.
The project is a 3-year project. It started in 2019 and it will end in 2022, October. Currently, we are about 22% complete. We measure our completion by the amount of money expended, not by the amount of time that's elapsed. However, we've only paid the contractor about 20-something% worth of the monies. Now, most of the work he's done so far is moving fill. So we haven't gotten to the high value items, for instance. Now we're doing the bridges and so forth. There's a lot of concrete work. And so therefore, the value of the works are going to go up significantly.
The Rio Mina is one of the largest rivers in Jamaica, and it is very flood prone. So in fact, the bridge that we're building is actually the longest 4-lane bridge in Jamaica. It will be about 150 meters long. And so this is just a start of construction. So what you can see over my shoulder is the work being done to install piles. So the bridge is actually on 5 piers, which are made out of pile structure, which is a circular concrete structure which goes down about 30 meters into the ground. And the piles will bring the bridge to the height of the old bridge. And in fact, the new bridge is actually much wider than the old bridge. So we expect that the new bridge will actually facilitate water flowing through. So the conditions that we had in about, when it was 1981, 86, when the approaches to the bridge was washed away, the approaches to the old bridge was washed away. We shouldn't have that conditions here because this new bridge will be wider than the old bridge.
We expect over the next few months to see an acceleration in the type of fill that happens as the contractor makes his way through the hills. We've pretty much established the embankment coming all the way from the start of project right here all the way up to the foothills of Manchester at St. Tullis. As you drive through the project, you'll notice that we've put a significant amount of fill on the ground, or embankment, where we're starting to actually get the levels for the actual road to be built. So currently that's what we're working on. We're working on drainage structures. You'll see culverts, what we call, underpasses in the first instance. You'll see culverts, corrugated steel pipes, HDPE, so plastic pipes going in to convey water from the north to the south of the highway.
Safety is paramount for any construction projects. And for safety, the contractor has first strike, where all workers, all operatives on the site adhere to safety requirements. You'll see signs about safety rules and guidelines. For this project, you'll see guidelines both in Chinese and in English. Workers need to have what we call the PPEs, personal protective equipment. You have your helmet, you have your high visibility vest, and you have your hard boot. So that once you're on the site, you can avoid accidents because things do happen. On the environmental side, the project before you commence have to get an environmental permit. And that has a number of stipulations. We have several conditions which speaks to management of the environmental issues.
We do noise and air quality monitoring along the highway construction. As you had seen earlier, we showed you two pieces of equipment we use. The noise meter, which essentially measures the noise over a 24-hour period, catching the levels every second. And based on that, then we look at the averages and compare it with the NEPA standard. That standard is recognized day and night, and we look to see if we are exceeding it. And if that's the case, then what needs to be done to bring it back down so that the persons around will be comfortable. In terms of the dust, the particulate sampler, which we had also shown, dust comes in at the top on a little mushroom looking thing that was on top of it, gets in on pre-weighed filters, and then that filter is taken back to the lab and weighed. The 24-hour reading is what we use to compare with the standard. The standard is 150 micrograms per cubic meter for 24 hour, which is the level. And we compare that with what's happening along the highway construction to see if there's any activity and if there's any elevation with the dust. If that's the case, then we'll recommend in terms of increased wetting and other mitigative actions.
But as you move beyond the Milk River, we are in very hilly terrain with limestone. So in order to excavate the rock, blasting is invariably required. For blasting to take place, the contractor has the responsibility of obtaining a license from the Department of Mines and Geology in order to undertake blasting activity. In Jamaica, a blast on this highway has a limit of what we call 25 ground acceleration motion, 25 millimeters per second, which is the limit. Which if you exceed that, then the blast is not safe and you can have damages to structures.
Quality control is a very important aspect for us on the highway. We have a very, very rigid quality assurance process. The contractor is expected to be certified both to AASHTO as well as to ISO for his works. What we do on the NROC side, with the assistance of our consultants, is to do the quality assurance. So the random checks to ensure that what the contractor is saying he has put in his quality plan is actually what he's doing.
So as part of CHEC's quality management system, it is imperative that we test the compaction for each layer of fill that is applied. We are testing at approximately 3,000 square meters, right? And we do our testing randomly. So what he did was, our technician, he bored the hole and then put the nuclear gauge inside it and the machine will demonstrate the percentage compaction. What we are looking for are readings above 95%, and I think he got far more than 95% there.
The communities are very integral in the project implementation because the highway goes through all these communities and we're impacting them. One of the things that has happened in the poorest resort areas is that some areas have no potable water, and as such we partner with the community, the local representatives, the contractor China Harbour to provide what we call black tanks, right? So that, and they're communal tanks. So these are placed along the roadside in the community, and water is provided from the contractor side every other week or twice a month. So that persons who don't have access to running potable water can come and access water from these tanks.
The primary thing that we'll see persons benefiting from is a travel time of approximately 40 minutes from Kingston to Mandeville. So I think that perhaps is maybe the most important thing that persons will see. We expect at the same time for the development to open up new developments, new areas, housing, business, etc.
The National Road Operating and Constructing Company, NROC, along with key stakeholders, are working tirelessly to unlock opportunities and create possibilities for government, businesses, families, people. You, me, us. A symbol of economic growth, extending logistical opportunities and taking spirited strides to improve on travel. A journey made possible by the National Road Operating and Constructing Company. Its length and breadth, its reach, its span. This is Highway 2000.
I am Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice, and with the support of the European Union, we intend to build a first-class justice system. The contribution of the European Union to the Jamaica justice system is enormous. We believe that this partnership with the European Union has been beneficial to Jamaica, and we hope that further assessment will demonstrate that the partnership between the European Union and Jamaica is one that has not only been game-changing, but will continue in the years ahead. The most significant achievement, in my opinion, was the Court of Appeal. Before the Court of Appeal was rebuilt, only 7 judges could have been appointed. Now we can appoint 12 judges, plus the president of the court, and this will ensure that at that level in the Court of Appeal, cases will move expeditiously. It will set the tone for how we engage in backlog reduction.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.